right at 11:06. Let's see if Camilo was able to make it to the call. As you guys may have known on the chat, he was having some issues to get on the call, but um, I'm actually really excited for this call. It's gonna be a really interesting topic that I brought in tonight. And I actually, since we got people here, I wanted to just ask everybody, kind of like first to give me an answer based on the thought of kind of what you wanted to go with this call and what is the value that you would like to receive, right? So I have two type of choices for you guys. Option number one, basically drop a one if you would rather me give you a call based of some thinkings that I have and my understanding from just some information that I want to share. Or number two, if you want me to be really theoretical and show you some of the actual facts that I read and take a time to read them to you so you guys can also understand it in the same way. I'm gonna say it again. Number one, if you want me to just tell you what I understand 100%. Number two, if you want me to read you the section that I want to explain and then give you my thought. So drop those numbers in the chat. Let's see what you guys are feeling so we see where we want to go. Okay, I see Albion. We got number one. All right. And indecisive. He said, go with your heart. All right, so let's just do this. Well, let's just do a half and half, whatever. I'm gonna do it as I figure. So let's just do a half and half. Let me just close these combos because it's confusing me. There we go. And let me just stop sharing. Perfect. So, well, what's going on, guys? Happy and grateful as always to be here. Another live your best life always. Another great Tuesday night. This is now number 4. And just to kind of make a recap, so the first call we were talking about personal development, self-development within leadership. Then we were talking about number 2, the principles of like how to be a leader of your own life. We thought also how to like basically decide your own path. And that whole thing went through call number 3, and now call number 4 today. Since we already seen a lot of like the main scenes, right? We've seen that there is some type of choices that we can make in order to move forward, and there is some type of thinking that we can control within ourselves that we can use to really keep going to the next level. If you guys remember, the last thing I said in the last call, literally the last sentence I said was, the only thing that you can control is effort. That's the last thing that I said, and it is 100% true. However, today I'm bringing you guys something else that everybody controls, but that it is a little bit hard to understand that we control it, and that I actually been reading a lot into it because I thought it was fascinating, the fact that we have the ability to control this. And what we're going to be talking about is our thinking. It's going to be our thoughts. I've been reading this book, which is called Thinking Fast and Slow, and I really wanted to break down those concepts to you guys because it's more of the same things that we've been developing, the same things that we've been practicing. As you guys may know, when we went to Dallas, we obviously were at Bob Proctor's event, and we really discovered those insights of our mind, those insights of vibration, of frequency, and really how to control your thoughts. And it's funny because in one of my IG captions, I was even copying, I'll tell you the truth, from one of my Rosa's statements where he said, I am thinking of what I think. I am looking to think of what I think so that I can control what I do. But that thinking of what I think, how does that even make sense, right? How can you think of what you think? It's something that it doesn't happen. And reading through the material, reading through this book, listening to audiobooks, I was able to understand way better everything that has to go with that, right? And I actually have an example here for you guys, the same way that I learned it, which is what I wanted to share in the beginning, so we can kind of just right away get an understanding of what does it mean to think of what you think. And as a matter of fact, if you guys are taking notes, I know as usual, you guys are coming really well prepared. And I'm telling you guys, I'm really going to blow your mind with what I'm going to share because it blew my own mind. So please go ahead and get some notes. Let's write down as the topic, thinking of what I think, because that's definitely going to be what we're going to be talking about here today. So I'm sharing my screen. I hope you guys can see it. If anybody can see it, just drop any random number in the chat just so I can make sure you guys are seeing it. And then we can keep moving forward. Just any number, so that way I know you guys are seeing the screen. 777, perfect. So what you guys are seeing right there, right? Everybody's seeing it really quick. I'm going to take it off, but I'm going to ask you a question. Which line is longer, right? And some of you guys may know the answer already, but let me explain it because this is the best way of understanding what does it mean to think of what I think. So if you guys saw it, which line is longer? It clearly means, I mean, for most of the people, you guys don't have to tell me, you guys don't have to put it in the chat, but most people would usually assume that the bottom line is longer, right? Right away, or subconscious mind or mind right away thinks that the bottom line is longer. Then now, obviously, as you guys may already think, I am bringing this example because they both happen to be the same size. They both are the same size, and that's the actual example that we're bringing. And the crazy thing is that as it goes per the rules, as it goes per the theoretical part of this book and of this material, even though you know that they're both the same size, you cannot force yourself to see them as equal. So when you feel first come and see it again, you still feel that type of weird energy because you can't really get it together. You're deferring whether they look the same or no. However, you will never say that they do not look the same, because you are not 100% sure that they look the same because we measure it or whatever. So what does that have to do with thinking of what you think, right? And it basically is explained on the two types of thinkings that we have, which is the thinking fast and the thinking slow. So let me actually put my video, sorry, I didn't even see, I didn't have it. It's the thinking fast and the thinking slow. So the thinking fast is what will happen right away as soon as we see the image, right? It's our first type of thinking, which is the one that is gonna, just with our eyes, make a random measurement of the illusion and let us know whether or not it is longer or they're the same size. Or thinking two is the one that is gonna think of what we're thinking. Is the one that is gonna realize whether what we believe to be true, which is when we're looking at it, our first thinking is believing that the bottom one was longer. But then our second type of thinking is gonna think of that thought and is gonna see, okay, is it really longer? Is it really longer? And then that's when you come and measure it, and then you put that little extra effort to figure out which one is longer. So then anytime that image is brought up to you, your initial thinking is gonna keep thinking that it is longer, but then your second thinking comes in and overwrites it. So that's what we're talking about, thinking of what you're thinking, right? You're gonna have those first initial thoughts that are gonna come to you, whether it's about the business, whether it's about your personal development, whether it's about your life, your discipline, whatever it is, it's that first thing that comes, and then it's that second voice in your head, that second friend that you have that is kind of like telling you, hey, and this doesn't have to do anything with doing something right or doing something wrong. This doesn't have to do with partying, with drinking alcohol, with whatever. We're talking about every single thing that happens throughout your day. So just to clarify, this is not like good evil, bad evil. No, we're just talking a first initial thing that comes from your mind by reaction of the obvious, of what it can quickly determine, and then the second type of thing, which is the one that is going to come in, and if you decide to, and if your brain decides to, is the one that is going to come in and actually attack that thought to see if what you are thinking makes sense or not. So I know the material is a little bit weird. I hope you guys are really getting it, because what I'm basically trying to say, every time you have a thought, depending on how complicated it is, what you are looking to understand or what you're looking to actually think of, your brain or yourself is going to decide whether or not to involve the second type of thinking, which is only going to get involved when you believe that you need to put that extra effort of mentally development in order to realize whether or not something is true or not. So it goes back to an example that, for example, if you guys in the book, they're talking like, let's say you want to multiply 17 times 24, 17 times 24, and you guys don't have to do the number. But what they say is, as soon as you hear the number 17 times 24, right away, your mind, your first thinking automatically assumes and understands that it's not going to be 2,000, it's not going to be 100. You have no idea where exactly the number is going to be, but you know kind of like parameters that are going to be determined by your first thinking. But if you decided, right, if you decided to actually participate in the operation and actually calculate it, then you will be bringing up your second thinking. You will be deciding to engage with your second type of thought, which is the one that is going to actually do the mental thing in your head. It's the one that is actually going to do the mental calculation in your head. So those are the different types of things. And the crazy thing about this example is that it shows you clearly how is it that you can control it. Because again, I said 17 times 24. And most people might hear it and try to make the solution. But as soon as you realize it's not super quick, you decide whether to actually go on the second thinking and really engage in the mental activity that it takes to determine the value 17th and 24th, or just decline it and feel like it is not worth your time, it is not worth your mental effort. So that's the same thing that happens with our everyday things, right? It's the same thing that happens with the things that we see throughout the day, the things that happen to ourselves, how we react to everything, right? When you're feeling bad about your business, when you're feeling good about your business, when you're in a trade, when you have that moment of greediness, and then your second thinking comes and tells you, is it really a good opportunity? Are you really looking for more? Are you following your rules? Are you following your parameters? So it is extremely important to understand this, because we have the ability to decide when to engage both and when to engage only one. And that is something that is right now currently, because you don't know it, it's currently happening automatically for you. It's happening on autopilot. Whenever you see something, your mind, based on the things that you've been going through, is going to determine whether or not it's worth to engage that second thinking, or whether it's just going to go with the first thought that you initially have, right? So that's our intuitive thinking, right? The intuitive thinking is the one that just comes in and right away assumes stuff. It kind of thinks into the future. It kind of just sees some stuff, right? It's kind of like when you come in and you get on an IG live, and without even hearing, just by seeing that there is, let's say, 20 people or 10 people, you assume the information is not important. But if you see 300 people, you assume right away that it is something important. How? You have not even had a second to hear anything that they're saying, but because you are seeing a number, you decide right away to just go with your first thinking in basically think, okay, that's not going to be important. And that's okay. It doesn't require you to do it. It's just a quick decision. But I'm just showing you an example of some type of decisions that we take where we just assume, right? We just assume whatever we want to see. We cannot predict the future because we see something and right away, oh no, this is not going to be important, right? We cannot get into the future. So you have your second type of thinking, which is when a solution doesn't come precisely to your mind, you are going to decide to engage in that second thought, right? You're going to, and it's not going to be only your mind. As a matter of fact, what I was reading is that your body gets involved as well. There is certain type of things that happen throughout our body, with our blood pressure, with our eyes, they dilate, right? With even our muscles tense a little bit when we are engaging on both thinkings. And it's something that I particularly found interesting because we don't really know about this. And it's something that if you don't really know about it, you don't know when you're being lazy and when you're being not. Because the thing that happens with the second type of thinking is that it's running on an autopilot where it is the one that it just determines sometimes whether or not it wants to engage in those activities. And because it is just lazy by default, like our system or our body or mind by default is lazy, right? Based on the studies that they done throughout most of the people. So a lot of people, they just don't decide to engage in that because number one, they might not want the challenge. They don't want to put the effort. They don't feel like doing it. But now that you guys are aware that there is this type of thinking, now you guys are going to definitely engage. And that's the really important thing because there is another type of illusions that come in. It's not only visual illusions, right? It's also some type of hearing illusions or scenario illusions that we create in our head. They're actually called cognitive illusions that are going to go like this. Basically, they were explaining how some people, let's say they will feel really bad for other people, and they will feel really bad for other people because the other people, let's say they were somebody that is always lying, somebody that is always telling you a story. So this person will come in and tell you a story where basically they will make you feel just so sad, man, just so sad about themselves. Kind of like when you're watching the movie The Joker, you just feel this type of way where you feel empathy for the guy, right? And you feel all this. But then when they did this study, they saw that the people that weren't aware will fall for the empathy, but then there will be other type of people that were thought that these people had a mental problem and that what they did all the time was make people engage with their empathy into their feelings so that they will give them what they want. So again, there is this type of people that had mental issues, but they wanted to get stuff. Let's say you're in a nursing home and you want to get, I don't know, you want to get whatever you want to get, right? And you're not going to get it. You want some ice cream, but then you make the other person feel some type of way by your words where you're going to make them engage in getting you the ice cream while you know that the ice cream is not going to be beneficial for you. So anyway, not to get it too complicated, but basically when you are aware that the other person is setting you up for that, right? It's kind of like when you're coming and you're kind of prepared that the other person is going to tell you something, then even though your first thinking is going to have that empathy for that person, then you have your subconscious second thought, which is going to be the one that is like, hey, listen, but that's not true. You know, they're playing with you. You know this, you know that. It's kind of like when you're trading as well. And I always like to relate it because at the end of the day, guys, we are all trading Forex. We're all in wealth creation. We're in personal development. And everything that I've been studying has not only been to elevate myself, but elevate my discipline, elevate my mind, and take full control of the machine that we all have, right? Which is our brain. Because at the end of the day, we are not a machine, but we have a whole machine in our brain. We have a whole computer, something extremely powerful, something that can see ideas and manifest them into reality, something that can really imagine things that don't exist yet, but we gotta know how to use it. So when I'm understanding that there is two types of thinkings, then you can come into trading and see when you see this opportunity that looks extremely, like nice, like a really good sales net, and you're gonna come in and maybe throw one lot. But right before you put that lot, your second thinking comes and tells you, you should not be doing that because of this, because of that, because of this rule, because it's over leveraging, because of whatever. So it is extremely important that when we're going throughout our day, we are aware of this, because it's not that you have to really engage that second thinking in everything that you do, but you gotta be aware of the moments when you're really deciding to give up on thinking, when you're really deciding to act just like an animal. And an animal is not something that really should offend you, because at the end of the day, we can all be considered animals. The only difference between ourselves and the other type of animals is that those animals don't have a way of thinking themselves. They don't have a way to actually rationalize or really give that second thinking that can come in and determine whether or not those first thoughts are real, whether or not those first thoughts are the best decisions. So we are blessed to have that ability, because we don't only react to things, right? We don't only react to things. We also have the ability to decide when some things are nice, when some things are not. So that's our difference between us and maybe a dog or those type of things. So now that we're understanding that, right, just to give you another idea, like if you're driving, right? If you're driving, you're only engaging on your first thinking. You're not really aware of like your feet. You're not really aware of like how much you're pushing into the gas. You're not really doing that, right? You're just kind of like just going with the flow, just driving. But then there is this state of flow that you get into when you're driving, because you feel comfortable. You feel an activity that it makes you feel 100% comfortable. And this doesn't have to do a lot with the brain, but this is something else that it has to do with our flow and kind of finding what are the things that we're gonna perform the best as, right? So there's gonna be activities that are low complication and that we might have low ability in it, and we're still gonna be able to perform because the level that you need for it is really low and you happen to match it. So we're gonna perform at okay level. But then we might have a medium level of skill in that activity. Let's say, I can think of an example, but let's say playing soccer, right? Let's say playing soccer, let's say I have it at a medium level. So it comes a little bit easier for me to do some type of things that are really low level because I'm at a medium level right there. But when it comes to basketball, there might be a really low level and I'm at a low level, so I just do okay, right? And then there's gonna be things that are gonna be at a higher level of a skill, right? At a higher level of demanding, and then your skill, if it doesn't match it, you're not gonna feel comfortable. So then you either gonna have to drop this, but then that means that you're dropping your results. That means that you're dropping the things that you're going for, or you're gonna have to raise yourself in order for your ability, for your skills to match with the activities that you're trying to do. Why is it that you wanna match it? Because you wanna get into the state of flow, which is what we were talking about right now. That state of flow is when your first and second thinking are acting so properly, where you basically have your second thinking engaged at just a perfect pace, right? And we're talking about pace. We're talking almost like a speed. Your brain is working at a certain speed where it is really computing different types of activities, different type of thinkings, but it is at a level where it feels quite comfortable. And that can be doing something extremely difficult, but remember, it is only going to feel comfortable. It is only going to feel in a state of flow when you raise yourself to that level, right? It's kind of like if your math professor is answering a problem, his brain is going to be in a state of flow, while your brain as a student may be like, overburning your second thinking. It's like really trying to figure it out. You feel overwhelmed. You can't really think of anything else. So that's what you need to understand, because you need to match yourself to whatever you want to do. Right? So now that we understand the thinking one and the thinking two, I want to ask you guys, what do you think that you need to apply during the day? You need to apply number thinking 1, or do you need to apply thinking 2, right? And a lot of people might say right away, oh, thinking 2, and it is right. But no, because thinking 2, even though it's always going to be that right choice, it can also kind of like prevent you from doing things, because if you come in and you touch something that is extremely hot, you don't really need to think whether or not you should get your hand off, right? You don't need to engage in that type of thinking. It is okay for your thinking 1 to just come in, touch it, and react, and basically get out of it, because it's something that is just intuitive, right? It's something that you can quickly understand. You don't need to think, oh my God, I'm getting burned. Oh, it really feels burned. If I keep it on, I'm going to get 3rd-degree burns. Well, maybe I should keep it. Maybe, you know what I mean? It's quick things. So don't think that is bad. We all have them, but the important thing is to understand when to apply the second one, right? And a really important factor, and something that really stuck to me because I seen it myself, is throughout reading this, they did multiple studies. I mean, these people literally, the whole reading is just explaining all the studies they've been doing. So they did all these studies where they understood that the way that you're going to react, absorb, and really vibrate with some type of information is going to be determined on the way that you are feeling yourself. Because what happens is that our thinking is not only related to our brain. The same way that our brain can transmute thoughts and vibrations into our body and make it feel some type of way, our body can react and gives our brains some type of reactions. So just the same way that when you touch something hot, it is your hand touching it, but that reaction automatically fires your brain to move your hand. So the same thing happens when you're actually feeling some type of mood. When you're feeling either sad or when you're feeling when you're feeling happy, your mind is gonna be determining whether or not it wants to connect with the thoughts that are coming. So let's say you're coming into this call and you just had a massive event. Let's say you're coming into this call and you just close somebody. Let's say you're coming into this call and you just won a trade, right? You're in a state of happiness right now. You're in a state of gratitude. And I really wish everybody is like that right now. You're in a state of gratitude. When you're in a state of gratitude, every single thing that I say, you're going to be able to understand it better, because you're going to be open to really connect with the thoughts that I'm giving you. You're going to be open to really, want to hear the material, to really want to hear the information, to really want to pay attention. But if you're feeling like, somebody just quit your business, you just took a bad L, you just did something you shouldn't, you just were undisciplined, you do something that you're wrong, and you're feeling ugly. You're feeling like this is not your best day. You're not feeling your best mood, right? First of all, you shouldn't be feeling like that, because if before I even this call, everybody knows the information. So you should already know that you need to be able to control those thoughts. And that's when your second thinking comes, when you're having those bad things. And then you come in and say, listen, I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think about it in the bad way. I'm not going to see the glass half empty. I'm going to see it half full, right? So when you're feeling that type of way, when you're feeling upset, when you're feeling like, no, yeah, I lost that trade or whatever, then you're going to come in and I might be giving you the best information in the world, but your brain is not in a state of receiving. It's not in a state of where it really wants to listen. You may be on this call just because somebody sent you the thing and you just feel like showing so your name appears. You may not be here because of you have intention. And we always got to remember that's one of the most important parts, right? So when you're not feeling the type of way, you don't have real intention, then you're not going to be able to perceive and really understand those thoughts. So what it's important that we do, guys, because we're having a lot of calls, we're having a lot of information that is being delivered, obviously not only by me, also by the next guest speaker that is coming up, but we also have Mike. We also have obviously Mars, Kale, we have Edwin that been doing calls. We have Sebastian that does some calls. I mean, Bobby, Rico, everybody, right? Josh. So when you come into those calls, 5 minutes before you coming into those calls, you got to really take a second and say, am I coming into that call just to show up my name? Am I coming into that call just to put another participant on the line? Or am I coming into that call because, number one, I want to show respect. And for me to show respect, that means that I'm going to listen. Because if you want to determine whether or not what that person is saying, you really got to listen. If you really want to determine what they're saying, it's good or bad, you want to listen. And you're only going to be able to listen, number one, if you have intention. And number two, if you're feeling happy, if you're feeling in the mood of listening, if you're feeling like, you know what, I don't care anything that happened. I am blessed that I can be on this call. I am blessed that I have the link to get on this call. Fuck everything that just happened. Let me plug in the next 30 minutes and pick the brain of this individual that is at a higher level. Or that might be at a lower level, but it might be at a higher level in different types of routes, right? Because I always like to emphasize everybody here is at a really, really high level. What happens is that we're at different types of high levels, right? Because, for example, I am in an extremely, extremely high level of development when it comes to fixing phones and computers. Why? Because that is my job. Does it make anybody here less of a person, less of an individual, less smart because you're not at my level of fixing phones? No, because then I might not be at your level of editing videos. I might not be at your level of marketing on social media. I might not be at your level of whatever it is that you've been taking the time on yourself to master, right? I might not be at Apollo's level in trading Bitcoin, right? So we all have different things where we are at a higher level, but that's why it goes back to what I said. Once you identify something else that you want to attack, once you identify the next goal, then you got to see how much of your brain power is going to take, and you got to match your skill set with that level so that you can do it on a state of flow. That's how people write essays in an hour. That's how people get things done really quick. That's how people go on momentum, because they are in a state of flow. They're operating at the place where they feel the best. Their body's feeling their best. Their brain is feeling their best. They're not performing low. They're not performing burning, but they're performing at a high level where they feel comfortable and happy. And I know that your comfort zone is your broke zone, but we're talking about a different type of comfortable, because we're not talking about a comfortable that you decided to stay at. We're talking about a comfortable where you saw a goal and you push yourself up to the level where you can feel comfortable enough to address that task. So that was a lot of information, a lot of material. It was a little bit of a complicated call because there's a lot of things that I learned, but it takes a lot of examples, a lot of this, a lot of that I really don't want to go through all of this on this call and make it a long night. And I also want to give the next person the opportunity. But I hope you guys really understood, man. You guys really understood at the end of the day, the key of the point is that based on how you feel, it's going to come the words that you think of, right? If I tell you right now, let's say trading, as soon as I say trading, tell me right in the chat, what is the next word that comes to your mind? So I can show you guys an example. If I say trading, what is the first word that comes into your mind? Put it in the chat. Currencies, let's say what other people say. Trading. I'm going to keep saying it. Trading, right? As soon as I said that, what are the words that are coming into your head, right? What is coming into your head, right? So in this case, Mike says currencies, Forex. Mark says money, profits, money, right? However, these thoughts, right? These thoughts are coming not only based on how you feel, but they're also coming based of what? Based of what we know, based of our subconscious mind, based of the things that we already have determined in our brain. Because what is the difference between money, between profits, between bag, between time, between whatever way you want to call it, between racks, between whatever, pips, right? It's going to be the environment, the things that you've been thinking of, right? The things that your mood is feeling, right? The things that your mood is feeling, because if I'm in the state of developing myself right now, as soon as you say Forex, I'm going to say, let's say discipline. But if I'm in the state where I'm winning and I'm doing really good, as soon as you say Forex, I'm going to think of profits. If I just got started, as soon as you say Forex, I'm going to say money. If you've been doing it for quite a while or whatever, when they say trading, you're going to say currencies, right? When they say trading, you're going to say Forex. But why are you not saying, as soon as they say trading, you're not saying stocks? There is no right or wrong answer, because at the end of the day, I didn't say what is it that we trade in this group. I said, when I say the word trading, what comes to your mind? And Mike said currencies. But he could have said stocks, but it doesn't, because the environment that we have around our thinking is around currencies. So he didn't have to come in and think of with his second type of thinking. He didn't have to come in and say, all right, currencies. Oh, is it something really true? I'm about to write currencies. Is that a right answer? Is that a wrong answer? No. Why? Because number one, he knows that this is no test. He knows that whatever he puts is going to be okay. And number three, because he is super confident that currencies, it's a word that relates to trading based of the things that he sees constantly, right? Based of the things that he sees constantly, the words that he constantly sees are the words that he constantly have in his head. Why is it that yesterday he was showing us, I'm applying 5,000. I am applying 5,000. Why? Because when he comes in and he's doing a presentation and he's showing something, right? I guarantee you, when he's pointing out the rank advances, when he points at 5,000, even though even though, listen to this, when he puts a 5,000, even though he's going to tell you, I am currently not at this level, or he might tell you I'm at a level 2,000, when he says that, for a second, his first thinking kind of wants to say, this is where I'm at, because that's how he feels. So that's the thinking that he holds intuitive in himself. So when he sees planning 5,000, he's going to randomly say, this is where I'm at. But right before he says that, his second thinking comes in, attacks that thought before he speaks it, and he's going to tell him, Mike, I know you feel like this, but is it really your rank? Do you really wanna tell these people a lie? Not a lie because it's a bad lie, but you want to tell them a lie because you don't want to let yourself down, that your self-belief is not strong enough? Or do you want to tell them the truth while explaining that your self-belief is letting you know that you are currently going to be at this level? Or like what is he thinking, right? What is that second thought telling you? What is that second thought guiding your decision? So that's all I really wanted to say, right? Just understanding that every time we see something, every time we hear something, we have that quick interaction, that quick intuitive thinking, and then we decide whether or not we want to engage on the second thought and just come in and really attack that thought to see if it's true or not, and if it's worth our time developing further research into that thought. So I hope everybody got some value. If you guys got some value and that this really makes sense, that you guys like this type of more theoretical thought, drop those 777s that my boy Mike started going. 777, and what those sevens are dropping, I mean, I'll tell you guys as always, get ready, because now we are on call number 4. And as you guys know already, my guest speaker is looking nice, he's looking sharp. Milo Money is looking like hot right now. This boy is looking ready, looking clean, looking like a freaking chairman, looking like somebody that is really, really developed, looking like somebody that is really about to come in and touch those points that I might have not been able to get to because he has a different type of environment. He's in a different type of feeling, because at the end of the day, when we coming into this call, I was in my house right now talking to my parents. So the type of thoughts that I'm giving you are going to come more based off the books rather than my emotions, while he is coming out of an event. So the thoughts that he's going to bring into you are going to come right more of an emotion and more of how he's feeling, rather than just out of a textbook. So with that said, please keep dropping that 777. As a matter of fact, drop that 333 because I know he likes it, for my brother Milo. And if you're right there, brother, I see you, take it over and kill this.
Sheesh. Damn, bro. You always blow me away how passionate and how like serious you are about giving us this information. I really appreciate you, bro, because you don't have to be doing this. You don't have to put so much effort into these calls, but you give it your 100%, right? And I just want to thank you, bro. Wait, one. Sorry about that. So yeah, I really appreciate you, bro. Honestly, you're a chairman in my eyes, and I've always idolized you because of the extra and above you go for everything you do, and it just clearly shows right now. So everyone, just give it back to Carlos. Everyone, just show some love. Drop another 333, and I'm gonna show you guys what I have to offer right now. There you go. There's them 333s. Yo. So, guys, I just want to talk a little bit about what he said. I actually prepared a little bit, Carlos. You know, I always try to go extra and above like you sometimes, actually all the time, but it's hard to compete when you have somebody like that to look up to, right? So, guys, like what Carlos was talking about was the two ways our minds operate. Our minds operate in two different ways, right? And the first one, it's always automatic. It's always automatic. It's just like an assumption. So let's say you have a girlfriend, right? And she comes home, you know, she had a bad day at work. You can see it all over her face. She looks miserable. You could probably tell she's hungry, and you don't even want to say anything because you're automatically coming to the conclusion that she probably had a bad day. She probably went through something, right? But sometimes it could have just been something that got in her shoe. You don't even know what could have happened, right? You didn't even think about it. She could have just stepped on gum or just got her shoes wet in the rain, and maybe that's what she was mad about, and she wasn't really that mad. But instead of actually operating at the system 2, which is the one that Carlos was talking about, which is like it actually takes, it requires attention, and it's complex, and it requires mental activity. So it requires your mind to actually operate, to actually use your like a couple like it's not just like automatic, right? So an example is, right? Hold on 1 second. All right, yeah. So when you go to buy a used car, so think about when you're gonna go buy a used car. What do you have to determine to buy that used car? You're not gonna just walk in a dealership and pick the nicest car you see. You have to look at the price. You have to see the mileage. You have to see if there's any leakage. You have to see all these different things, and you have to actually make a serious decision and actually analyze these cars. Maybe test them out. Maybe run them and see how the engine is, right? So that's what system two is. It requires your mental effort, and you have to be really conscious of what you do, because sometimes we get too stuck in the system one, right? It's we're always going to need both systems, because system one usually is going to keep us away from trouble. But what you have to realize is sometimes you really need to take and use the system two. So for example, when you're trading, right, when you see somebody send a buy, let's say a signal, what is your first instinct? I'm gonna place that right now. I'm gonna take this trade right now. Oh, they just sent out an alert. Oh, it's time for money. That's the first thing that comes to your head. You don't even take a second to realize, yo, who called this trade? Is this a good trade? Is this have 4 confirmations? Does this have 5 confirmations? Is this a juicy, profitable trade? No, you don't, because you're at system one, because all you're thinking about is quick money. And I'm not gonna lie, that's how I thought at first, right? I just thought every trade was a good trade. I thought every trade idea was gonna be a good one, and I'm gonna probably over leveraged because a real trader gave it. But at the end of the day, guys, you have to use your system too. This is why we're here, right? Because we have to literally use our system too so much to get to actually be profitable, because we have to find the trading system. We have to find our compound plan. We have to look for a series of confirmations. So you really have to use it, right? So stop. So sometimes, and sometimes it's actually the other way around as well. So sometimes we see, let's say we see we see a trade setup, right? We see a head and shoulders, right? And we're like, system one already taught us that, yo, we see a head and shoulders, we're going to take this, right? We're going to take this down. We're looking for the second leg and we want to place a sell, right? But sometimes we actually have to look. We actually have to look, because you don't even know if there's news going on in 5 minutes. So you could have placed that trade, been in profit, maybe 2-3 pips in profit, and then you check in 10 minutes and your trade is hit stop loss. But you didn't even do your due diligence and go on Forex Factory and see if there's any news dropping. You know what I mean? So that's what you have to do. You have to equally use your system one and system two efficiently. You can't just operate on one or the other. Like Carlos said, if you just use system two in order for you to trade, you're gonna think it's just all about just it's more complex than it is. Because once you actually figure out trading, it's really not that complex. It's just that you have to use your system two to learn all the basics, because you don't really know what anything is yet. You have to use that system two and say, you know what, what's a pip? How do I calculate these pips? You have to figure out, all right, how do I not over leverage? You have to use your system two in the beginning a lot. But then once you get really good at trading, you only have to use your system one, really, right? You only use your system two when it's not lined up as well as you wanted it to. That's when you just check, and then you go to Forex Factory. You know what? Let me just check, and then now you can take that trade. So that's why I wanted to say you just have to make sure you use both systems, right? And so what Carlos was saying about uh so how you're let's say you make it, let's say you're a new trader, right? And you're not listening to the over leverage thing. The over leverage rule. You're not really worried about blowing your account, because if you're over leveraging, then you're not worried about blowing your account. But let's say, like I said, you take that one trade, right? You over leverage, then you blow your account. And then you're a new trader. What is your first thought? Bro, I hate trading. Oh my God, I just got robbed. Oh my God, what happened? Oh my God, like, dude, they said that this trade was going to be a buy and it wasn't. Oh, they're lying, right? You're just automatically assuming the worst, because you don't have enough experience in system two to realize that, you know what, maybe I'm not supposed to over leverage. Maybe I'm just supposed to go after my 5%. So honestly, like, you got to make sure that you don't use your system one for things like that in the beginning, especially if you're brand new, because if you use your system one, you're going to ruin your own chance. You're going to talk to yourself negative, right? Instead of like, you know what? Real traders know that, you know what? I blew my account, but that was my fault. I lost this trade because I didn't follow the rules. I didn't follow my system too, and I just wanted to be greedy, right? So you got to make sure you don't get discouraged and you actually use your system too. You know, I lost a trade. I blew my account, because that's happened to me. I'm not going to lie. You know, I go too big on one trade because I want to be rich, and that's not how it works. So I knew, yo, listen, bro, you didn't listen to that rule. Like, you didn't use your system two, bro. You just went for system one, and you really just went at it. Like, that's not how trading is. So you need a next trading account, really make sure that you're following these rules, or you're going to keep losing the same way. And if you just keep repeating the same mistakes, what does Mike like to say? That's insanity. You can't repeat the same mistakes. You can't do the same exact actions and expect something different to happen. So that's kind of like basically what I wanted to go over. Carlos basically gave everything you needed, all the examples, everything. He broke it down for you. This book, you guys, I'd recommend it. I only got to read the first chapter, but honestly, it's so much good information. Like this just changed the way I think. Like, I hope this changes the way you guys think. Like, drop a 111 if this changed the way you think today. If this call impacted you, drop a 111 right now.
111. 111 in the background over here.
Yes, sir. Guys, so I hope you guys took notes, because note takers are money makers. If you're not writing this stuff down, you most likely will forget it. You might grasp one or two things, but if you weren't taking notes on what Carlos had to say, you are not going to remember, right? I believe the book is called Fast and Slow Thinking. Fast and Slow Thinking. Got you, bro. So, yo, everybody, thank you guys. Yeah, this guy with the stash. Oh, man, Bobby, bro. Bobby had to drop one on me. This is my barber, bro. Yo, the little Zorro stash. Give credits to my boy right here. All right. Yo, guys. So thank you guys so much for attending this call. I hope you guys got really good nuggets today. And Carlos, again, bro, I appreciate everything you do for us. Mike, everyone on this call, thank you for hopping on. Honestly, bro, this is the money team. If you guys aren't fucking really grinding right now, if you guys aren't taking this to the next level, then I don't know what you guys are doing. Because I'm not trying to stay the same Milo. I'm not trying to be the Milo I was yesterday. I'm trying to be millionaire chairman Milo. I'm trying to be millionaire trading Milo. I don't
Milo, you're muted.
Sorry, guys. I said the big breakthrough that's happening in our team right now is really insane right now. I don't know if you guys know, but there's so much things going on. Like, if you are part of this team right now and you feel like something isn't working for you, then you guys, there's something wrong, because we're literally grinding so hard. I've seen so many individuals in the last month or two have so much success. I've seen some of my mentors, some of my actual team members that are on my team. I've seen so much growth in them, and I can just see what they're doing, and all that compounding effort is getting them. So honestly, guys, really take this serious. Like, we're not even trying. Like, we're really doing this. So if you're not doing something, talk to somebody. And if you're going through something right now, just talk to somebody, because we're really here for you. We just want the best out of you. We want to become the best team in IAM, and that's what we are. So thank you, Next Gen. That's all I got for you guys tonight. Have a blessed night.
Thank you so much, Milo. As always, bro, killing it. And, bro, you really, really, really did an amazing job at explaining in your way, really quick, in your way of really putting those thoughts together to kind of give the information in an awesome way, bro. The things that you said and the examples that you said, bro, I'm going to tell you right now, bro, I am extremely proud of you, bro, because just so you guys know, I just sent Milo the link to this information around 2 p.m. And I know he had to go to an event. I know he had to do a lot of things, and he still came in and gave the value. He says, "Where is Carlos?" Can you guys see me, hear me? Yeah, right? Oh, no,
Yes, sir.
Bro, I can't believe I didn't get that one. But no, bro, I appreciate you. And listen, guys, for all 23 of you guys in the call, 20, whatever, I really appreciate you guys a lot too. You know, it really takes a lot, because I don't need to be 100 people. If it's the same 20 people every single week, but the same 20 people that are coming in here because you guys are trusting me and Milo are going to come in and deliver value, I'll tell you, brother, no matter what, you guys can be assured that we're going to come in and bring you the value, because we're not going to disrespect your time. And Milo and me talk really well about this. We're going to come in and make sure that we're giving you something that you can really take away. And because of that, I want to give you guys a last example that is going to let you think and understand how is it that your controls of your thoughts come in based of the environment that you see. Because we said how your brain controls your body controls your brain, and how your eyes determine your thoughts. So in one of the experiments did this, right? They had this thing where people could grab it was like a self-serve of like coffee, let's say. So you can come in and you serve yourself coffee, and there is a tip jar, right? And they kind of suggest for you to leave like a $2 tip, but it's a tip jar. You don't have to do it. It's not even like a tip jar. It's kind of like if you want to pay because you're taking the coffee, like the coffee is right there served, right? So what they did is they ran this for 2 months. And every week, what they will do is that right next to the coffee and the place where you will put the money, it was actually called an honesty jar. They had a picture, 2 types of pictures, and they measured the reactions that people had. So the first week, they had a picture that was just a really short picture of 2 eyes. It doesn't mean 2 eyes mad, doesn't mean 2 eyes happy, just 2 eyes. Basically, 2 eyes that kind of represents when you see it, it represents like somebody's looking at you, right? Then the next week, they changed that picture and they just put flowers. Then the next week, they put some other types of eyes. Then the next week, they put some other type of flowers, and so on for the 2 months that they did it. What they saw is that every week, when they had the eyes right there, people gave way more money than when they had the flower. So when people came in, they got up the coffee. Their instant reaction, their thinking one, saw the picture, and because they felt like somebody was looking, they were quicker to actually grab the money, be honest, and put the money. But when they saw the flower, they never felt anything. So that's when you thought of like, I don't know if I'm going to put it, I don't know. It's like when you go to the self-checkout at Walmart, and I know 100% everybody's been through this. You grab a bunch of stuff in your cart. When you go to the self-checkout, you really second guess yourself and you think, should I not scan this one? Should I let it put it in the bag? Should I let it go? Should I do one more, right? And it doesn't matter what your values are. We all had it because, listen, I have really good values, but we all have those thoughts. I'm not saying you did it because your second thinking didn't allow you to do it, because your real second thinking didn't believe that was the right thing to do, right? But you all go through that. But people that are used to stealing every single day, people that are used to always being like stealing, they're not going to think. They're not going to involve their second thinking because they already believe right away that their first thinking, it's intuitive enough to just know that, yes, it's okay to steal that milk. It's okay to steal those eggs. We don't have to charge that. We can save $5 right here, right? It's the same thing when you go and you grab the cup of water and you decide whether you serve yourself water or you serve yourself Coke. It's your second thinking. It's not your first thinking, because the first thinking is going to be, if you are an honest person, your first thinking is going to be automatically going for the water because it's what you requested. If you are not such an honest person, your first thinking is going to go right away for the Coke. But at that moment, no matter which one you choose, most people are going to engage on thinking number 2 in order to determine what kind of person do I want to be today. So every time you're doing something throughout this week, throughout this month, throughout your development, just always think, what kind of person do I want to be, and decide when you want to engage thinking number 2 to really control what you're thinking right away. And don't let your decisions be intuitive decisions. Let them be decisions that you plan and that you rationalize, because that's the beautiful part about being a human, is the fact that we have intelligence. We can storage intelligence in our brain, and when we decide to take control, we can actually engage in rationalizing our thoughts so we can take the actions that are most beneficial. With that said, I appreciate you guys a lot. Love you guys a lot. Thank you very much for coming in once again, and I'll see you guys next week.